Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's July 23rd. This will be a chart lesson for the day, and it looked like we were going to get some follow-through buying here on the daily chart. We turned back down and closed lower. We did close off the lows, but again, it was one of those late afternoon, um, late afternoon buying sprees that brought it back higher. It was real choppy in there too. Instead of just going straight up or like it usually does, it chopped up and down, up and down, up and down. This market was really undecided. There's just a lot of I'm sorry, let me say that again. There's a lot of uncertainties out there. Um, the craziness going on with the election, Biden stepping down, the war drum still beating all over the world. There's a lot of fuses out there, and any one of them could light at any time, and this thing could blow up crazily. So I think this market's really nervous. Again, I don't think they let it sell off before election time, but this is kind of a weird election, so I just don't know what to expect. If it was a regular election and Biden was still running, I'd say no, they're not going to let it sell off. I don't, if anybody's watched the debate, it's doubtful Biden's running anything, even if he was still the president. So I don't think if Kamala Harris steps in, I don't think that changes anything. So I do not believe they're going to allow this market to sell off. Doesn't mean we can't have a correction here before election time and they rally it back. So, I mean, it's probably hard to keep it rolling at these high levels. And again, this market's just really nervous. So I don't know what to expect, but it looks like if we get follow through selling tomorrow, we could trade on down and at least test this midline. If you look closely, we closed above this midline on the envelope bands. So there's still some support there. So we could get follow through buying tomorrow. We may not. Again, my expectation would be we would probably try to trade down here and test this midline at a minimum before we headed higher for a retest. We probably will try to make a retest here, most likely. And at some point, this thing may continue higher anyway. But we could correct all the way down to the low end here. So I'm expecting that maybe we'll get some follow through selling tomorrow to test this midline. But we'll see what happens. We could get a measured move down. If it turns down here, which is all you got to go by at this point, that pretty much gives you a measured move down to the lower side of the bands. So of course, if we keep trading down, they'll turn down and start inching down too. So, but that's a likely spot that we could bounce right there. Either trade down to the midline and bounce, or trade on through and um, bounce off this lower band, out of these lower bands here on a measured move. So that's my expectation. Doesn't mean that's going to happen. Um, that's the problem with the daily chart. I mean, if we're looking at the 2000 chart, 2 or 3 bars later, we got a real good idea what's going to happen. But on the daily chart, it's slow as it moves at a snail's pace, and you need, to get 2 or 3 more bars here, we need 2 or 3 more days. So we don't get that in 10 or 15 minutes like we do on a 2000 tick chart. So it's a little slower and a little harder to read, but it'll give us a reading. And regardless of where we end up going, I would expect this thing keeps creeping up on me. I think this is what we've got right there. So regardless, I don't think we've had a convincing close outside till here, so I do believe we'll try to retest these highs no matter what happens. Sometimes it doesn't follow through with the price action rules, but 90% of the time it does. 90 plus percent of the time it does. So most likely we'll get a retest of these highs. So we'll see what transpires. But as of now, I just don't know whether we're going higher or lower first. So let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart. go through the trades, and we'll wrap this day up. And as you see here, it's a mixed day. Closes in the middle, kind of a doji. Well, it's just basically looks the same. It mirrors that on the 2000 tick chart. It's just kind of a mixed trading day. And here it is. No big news items today, so nothing to really set the market off. And you can see it there. Just mostly sideways, mostly mixed trading. And we did close mildly lower from yesterday. Not by much, but slightly. So there it is. Let's zoom on in, work through the trades, and wrap this day up. 7 o'clock came as we're working down here, and I don't really see anything. You can we get a break here, 2 legs up. We don't quite get a good enough signal bar for a second entry short there. You might say, okay, we get what looks like a lower high here, but we moved all the way through the EMA. Look how flat it is there. I think you got to sit tight, and I don't think there was enough there for that to work. You wouldn't want to take it regardless, but I don't think, and this is probably going to show you why. Well, there's exactly 6 ticks there. If you took it, it would have worked, but I don't like that trade. It's a third entry. It's moved too far. The EMA is flat. It doesn't really set up as a lower high, in my opinion. But if you wait just a minute, you get another leg up, and now you got a second entry short, and big bearish bar. So I like going short on that one. Okay, I'm sorry, I had an interruption there. I keep getting interrupted. Most of you know my mother had a stroke and then fell and broke her leg, and I've been dealing with that, and we're moving her. She's getting out of rehab tomorrow and moving to her new location, which is an assisted living place. And they've called me 5 times in a row, call after call. And normally I would just let it go to voicemail, but it's just, since we're moving her tomorrow, I've got to make sure we've got all our ducks in a row for my mom. And so if they call back, I'll have to break away again. I apologize. But anyway, I think we talked about this trade, second entry short, and then we worked higher here and got a break. And there's actually 2 swings up, so you might take that trade being that far away from the EMA. It would have worked. I'm not crazy about that one, but when we get this next leg up and you get another second entry and this bar is like 6 ticks, and it's even further away from the EMA, I think that's a good choice. It kind of proves out by that time you can really see that this channel is in play. So we should be heading back down to the other side, or at least back to the midline. This turns out to be a great trade. It runs all the way down. You get a break, new low that bounces off that trend line and confirms it, gives you a second entry long, another good entry. Quick, easy scalp. Probably get a runner off both of these. Actually, this one you may not. It depends on how you played the runner. This one you'd probably get a runner on for sure. You do get another second entry here, but the signal bar doesn't qualify, and there's some concern because maybe you're even still inside the channel. It takes off though. Now notice how we only went just slightly above the midline here, got above the midline, still didn't get up here. We came up short. Now we're headed back. There's a good chance that something could happen here, that you're going to probably overshoot the trend line. Maybe the same distance. Not always like that, but that's something to watch for, so be careful. Don't just enter here because you got a good signal bar. You need a good setup. And that's a first entry, second entry, third entry. I would wait for a higher low or something better. And we end up getting a little failed break lower with a 2 matching low and a nice signal bar here. That's where I would go long. It's still a little iffy there, but if I'm going to enter, that's where I'm going to enter. I mark that green because you were expecting to get the break about an equal distance, and you pretty much got that there. And this takes off, and it still finds resistance up here before it breaks higher. You don't get a good enough signal bar to go short there, and then we're just kind of rocking along here in a real tight range. This one was tempting. It does close outside the previous lows, but it's never smart to go short at the very low of a move, especially out of congestion like that when the trend is up. So you're kind of going against the trend. Yeah, it's probably time. It's probably reversing, and it's probably time for it to reverse. But you still got to be careful because it's been all uphill till now. So if this was to the long side, maybe you take it, but it's to the short side. So just sit tight. Wait on something better than that. We do get a second entry here. It looks sideways, but now we're starting to trend down. If you had I mean, I'm not crazy about that signal bar with only that much room to get out, and then it doesn't break below it anyway, and so you just have to skip that one. All these others are just first entries, and then you get your break and new low, and then it's going the other way. And again, I don't see any entries here. They're all first entries. Now, when you start to see these kind of setups, moves where you see all these bars real tight. This has creeped up on me again. You see this real tight channel, same thing coming down here. When the market opened, all this stuff creeped down. But anyway, you start to see all these real tight. So there's a couple here you might have considered, but on the way down, I don't really see anything I like. On the way up, we do get some signal bars, like right at the key entry point. Here's one. It's really congested though, so I'm not crazy about it. And then you don't get another one till up here. That's at the midline. I don't think I would. I would only do this off the key entry point, and then you don't get another one till here. So you still don't get anything really to enter there. That's the only one I might mark green. But you do get a close outside a new high, and then it starts just working sideways to slightly down. That thing was a little skewed there. So but this is a second entry short. First entry, second entry, a little ways away from the EMA. Basically a double top as well. I like entering there, just hoping to get a scalp, and maybe we start trending lower here. And so draw your trend line and your channel and see what happens. And you can't enter in here, you can't enter in here. And then finally you get another second entry short, and you also get a triple test there. You do get a close outside, but because it's a triple test and a second entry short with a nice signal bar, I think you can go short there. There's a lower high here, but I wouldn't enter there. That signal bar is questionable. So you probably don't get a runner on this one, but you do get your scalp. Runs down, you get a break and new low, and it looks like it's going to correct, and then we just get a flatter channel here. It starts working down. I mean, there's a second entry short here. There's one here. But I don't like any of those. It's just too sideways, too congested. We finally drop down and then get a trend up. And here you at least get a triple test, and you get a break and new high. So maybe it's a very nice signal bar. I like that one. Maybe you take that one. It runs down. Doesn't quite make a new low. You already had a break and new low, so really you got a break and two legs down. This one doesn't make another new low, but it works higher here and then just starts working sideways. We do get a triple, quadruple test down here with a nice signal bar, fairly low risk, 7 ticks off the lows. There's plenty of room to get out, and this thing takes off again. Get a break, new high. And this looks very similar to here. You run up, you get a triple test and a nice signal bar. I'd call that a repeat pattern. But the reason I didn't like this one was because you're going short into the EMA. You see this one close below it. That gives me a little bit of a concern going short there. But this thing's been up and down. It's mostly sideways. So it's probably worth risking it if you want to be a little aggressive. But it runs down, you get a break. You can clearly see two legs back up, and you're just retesting this high again. This actually breaks higher and turns down. You don't really want to trade that on the engulfing bar, and the signal bar itself is like 16 ticks. That's really big for this day. So I marked it green, but I'm not crazy about it. Um, then we start chopping sideways, and you got a multiple test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one does make a higher high, but it closes well within. I like going short there. I mean, it's 5 ticks, very low risk, plenty of room to get out. So I like that one. And then we ended up breaking out the upside, but you don't really get a setup here. This is your signal bar, so you can't trade this inside bar. That would have been a nice entry, but it just doesn't qualify. And that pretty much did it. It's just mostly just mixed trading day, sideways. We tried to do 2 legs up. We didn't quite make it. Then we tried to do 2 legs down and also didn't quite make it. We got a lot closer to this one than well, I say that, but maybe we didn't. If you draw this on over, it's not much difference there, probably. This one may be a little closer than that one. So, and you notice we did open up at 5 and we gapped way down. So I don't know if there's something that came out that some kind of news that's happened since I started my video. Who knows what they could be talking about, but why that could be happening. The market may just be weak. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going. There's a lot of, the whole world is a fire keg right now, and just anything financially or some kind of military operation or anything could set this thing off right now. So be aware of that. And at the same time, the current administration, they're going to do everything they can to prop it up where it doesn't sell off. So it's just, it's a push and pull, tug and pull kind of race right now, and this thing could go either way. So just be careful. I would probably only want to day trade right now. I definitely wouldn't want to get long and hold anything overnight. Or this is what happens to you when you hold something past the close. That's why they charge you more interest. Let's say you got long down here and you're in the money when it closes, and then suddenly it opens back up and it gaps way down. Well, let's say you entered right here, and let's just say you moved your stop up a little bit, even halfway, and it gaps back down. Well, really, you're only going to be worried about where your safety stop was. Your safety stop would still probably be in the same place, but you're going to gap down, and it's going to take you out somewhere down in here, so you're going to lose 10 or 11 points. And that's why they charge you more, where you won't see, it can't do that during the regular trading hours because there's plenty of volume, and it would have just, it might move down through there fast, but you get filled. Here, it just gaps down, and you don't get filled, and you get stopped out, and you lose 10 or 11 points. If you're trading one contract, well, you still lost $500 or so. If you're trading 20 contracts, well, you lost a good bit of money. So keep that in mind. If you're trading 15 or 20 contracts, you probably lost $8,000 or $10,000 there on a gap open. And that's why they don't allow you to use day trader. That's why they allow you to use day trader margin up in here, because you don't see those gaps and there's plenty of volume. And but once it closes, and during that hour, it used to be the market would be closed all night, and a lot of things could happen overnight. Not a whole lot's going to happen in an hour, but you see it's still possible because we just see it right here. So be aware of that. Always trade with safety stops. If you're day trading, don't risk taking something. Most of these day trading brokers won't allow you to take anything overnight. If they do, they raise your, if you do keep it overnight, they're going to increase your margin to match. So, and I don't know what regular margin is now. It's probably $3,000 a contract. So, you got a lot of money up anyway too, and you're going to need a much bigger account than your day trading account. So keep that in mind. But anyway, I that pretty much does it. Just kind of a mixed trading day. So, but we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a hectic day for me. I'll be in to do the mid-morning report, and I'll probably trade for a little bit prior to that if I get in here early enough. But I'll be leaving and out for a little while. But I'll be back to do the before the end of the day, and we will still do so the YouTube chart lesson will be here, and it'll be a regular day as far as y'all can tell. But I'll be in and out, and I probably won't be answering a whole lot of emails or anything like that. So I may get a little bit behind on my emails, but I'll try to do the best I can with it. But anyway, here it is, mixed trading day. We'll see what happens. They'll probably fill this gap before the night's over. We'll see. But anyway, I'm done for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.